Hi, my name is Adam TB. This video is meant to visually explain how to configure and run my LSTM for Forex model, hosted at my GitHub repository, which I link to in the description. The full concept and the results are described in my article, which I also link to in the description. The first step to use the model is to have the Forex data ready. So I will start with this step first. I've downloaded my Forex data using a software called Quant Data Manager, which I link to in the description. I've already downloaded and installed this software on my C drive. To download a symbol, which is the GBP USD in our case, Dukascopy, add new Dukascopy data symbol, select the symbol, select 1 minute data, and hit save. In my case, I've already done that, and it's generated this. The second step is to click here, select download data for existing symbol. In my case, I want the data from 2010 01 until to date. Start. This should take around 20 minutes. However, I've already downloaded this data, so it took no time. The third step is to select this symbol and say export. Because currently the data is stored in proprietary format, what you need to have is a CSV file with the data that you're looking for. So export to CSV. And when I export, I want the data from 2010 01 until recent. I want the 1 minute, and I want the structure of the data, my header, to be of this format. And the content to be of this format. And this will be saved in this directory, export. Completed. And I could see the downloaded file. I want to look at its content. So it has the header that we selected and the format, which is YYYY, MMDD, and the hour and the minute, and the high and the low for every minute. So it starts from 1st of January 2010, ends in 1st of October 2020. I want to rename this one and call it GBP USD. Now that we have the data ready, the second step is downloading the source code from here. So if I go to the GitHub repository, click here, and then download zip. And if I open this, I'll find the source code here, extract it here, and rename it just to remove the word main. And I usually have all my source code in a directory called R. The next step is to make sure I have all the libraries that are required to run this model. I need to have conda installed, or maybe pip, and from that one you need to execute this one. I've already have this executed. The next step is to activate your environment. The next step is to install TensorFlow for GPU. This is what I've used. However, if you haven't installed the TensorFlow for GPU, you need to install the supported libraries from NVIDIA. The link is in the description. And the setup will be different depending if you're using Windows or Linux. I have all this set up, and I want now to open my model with Visual Studio Code. So if I go to Open Folder and select the model here and open it, it should open. What I need to start with is the training and testing of the model. So if you look at the data folder, you will see that it's currently empty with the placeholders. So what we need to do is to add the data that we've just downloaded now into the data folder. Ctrl X, Ctrl V. Now we have the data. The next step is to prepare your variables. In the common variables file, this is where you choose your batch size, your window size, your start date, what is the name of your data file, and other options. The second step is this will load the CSV file and will create the training, the validation, and the testing as 3 independent files. As you can see, we generated 3 files, one for testing, other for training, and the third for validation. If we look at the testing one, it has a different format than this one because it has been processed. Now the next step is to load the train model. But training will take a long time, and a really long time. It can start from minutes and ends by weeks. For this model, to train it on 200 epochs, it will take around a week. So I've pre-prepared a model on 100 epochs, and I've included it in the GitHub repository, so it's downloaded with the code, and I saved it in models. I called it GBP USD 3225614, and I've also included the scaler. So I will not be running this step. I will be assuming this step is run, and this model is generated based on this run. The model is saved. As you can see, it will be saved here. The third step is actually testing the model. Now the model is run, and it showed us that the loss error is in the 10 of the -6. We could see the actual action price with the true and the simple moving average, as you can see here. Now this is not very impressive because we're only predicting 1 minute forward, and on every prediction we are looking at the real time and predicting 1 minute. The more realistic one and the one we're going to rely on in our trading is not this one. I'm going to close it. A more realistic way to predict is to use a multi-prediction model. So in this model, you could do multi-step forward predictions. So you could predict, for example, here 30 minutes forward, and you could decide what is the interval you need to leave between each prediction. This will be more clear when I show you the graph below. I leave it to run. It will take a few minutes, and I'll come back to you. It finished running. It took 1 minute. It generated the multi-prediction graph. So as I promised, I said the prediction interval is actually 128 minutes. So it's actually from this point here to this point here. There is 128 minutes, and same for everyone. So what this is trying to do is the green line is the actual GBP USD, and you can see it's actually on 1st of October, 3 o'clock here, 6 o'clock here, and it's predicting forward what is the expectation by this red line. And here is predicting that there's a slight uptrend in the currency. There wasn't. So probably if you have traded here, you would have lost. Here it said, okay, there is a bit of down, then up again. If you have traded, and depending on your limits, you would have made or lost money. And this all show different expectations. In my next video, I'm going to use this with an algorithmic trading software called cTrader. I will be able to test if this model is going to generate a profit or loss. Thank you for watching.